pressing record. Okay, when you get a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis.
When you get a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, we become a financial commodity to pharmaceutical companies because the treatments that are available to us cost a great deal. I remember when I was diagnosed and I was put on Rebif, it was costing the NHS £11,000 a year. Yeah. If we were given a different set of a different amount of information, if you like, around what we talk about heavy metals, about Epstein-Barr virus and other childhood illnesses and things like that, that we have the potential for doing something about. Yeah. I think one, we would have better outcomes further down the line with these conditions because we will be trying to control it right from the beginning in a healthy way.
And also not just trying, but actually, if we were told right at the beginning that actually this isn't a label that you've got to wear and go along to get to medical retirement or go along and get your disability badge and get this is actually something that you can do about. This is something that is your body is telling you what you've been doing up to this point is not serving you. It's not going to get you to where you want to be, assuming that you want to be healthy, fit and well. And it isn't. And I do think our illnesses are here to show us there's a different way, but we are not given that information. We're not even given that way of thinking by the doctor. The doctor, no matter how they deliver the diagnosis, they deliver it with a big dose of fear and disempowerment. And exactly that, you're then put on these medications that cost an absolute fortune. That when I looked up, because I was on Avonex, I looked up what it cost, and it was £5,000 a week. I don't know whether the NHS were paying that for it, but it was just like, what? You pay £5,000 a week for an injection that potentially may or may hold back some relapses, but then won't help me fund my own path to wellness if I want to go and get a massage. I want to go join a gym. I want to. So we pay into the NHS, but we've got no choice about how we get to spend it at the other end, which is really sad and not very helpful for people that want to take control for their own illness. And most people don't want to take control of their illness because it means having very little support, if I'm honest, because you go to the doctor and, like you've experienced recently at your doctors with the NHS nurse, the MS nurse did totally disregarded anything that you were doing and told you off for not taking the drugs.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is really sad when we may have choice. Surely it's our choice whether we take these drugs that may or may not help, but actually probably more than likely long term are going to give us some sort of negative effect, either our liver, our kidneys, or some other part of our body. That because they're super strong, and let's face it, a lot of them are trying to shut down our immune system because they seem to think that MS means it's attacking our immune system is attacking itself. Whether that's true or not, I do not know. But shutting down our immune system, is that going to really help? I don't know that either.
No. And I mean, look, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I think, unfortunately, our health service and pharmaceutical companies is an incestuous relationship there. Yeah. In the arena, I'm sure you see this, Gina, right? But in the arena that I'm in, I'm seeing more and more and more health professionals turning towards a lifestyle approach, right? Because with the greatest will in the world, right, and the greatest of respect, we are seeing chronic health conditions exploding in our communities today. Yeah.
When I last did a bit of research, and figures are really hard to come by, but they reckon now by the time we reach adulthood, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of living with something that you don't want to be living with, some
Yeah.
sort of condition or long-term illness. Obviously, some are more impactful on your day-to-day living than others, and I think that number is growing.
Yeah. And so is that telling you that number one, the pharmaceutical medicines are working, or are they just keeping people in a state of sickness? And
Well,
I think it's keeping people in a state of sickness.
yes, and I think and our benefits system does nothing to, well, it supports that. It supports keeping you in sickness, because as much as it keeps a roof over your head and yeah, a car on your drive, maybe it doesn't actually support you in any, in fact, quite the opposite. It's all the systems are very confusing. They add confusion and stress into your life where it doesn't need to be. And as we know, stress is stress is one of the killer things. And everything about the benefit system is stressful, in my experience.
And I'm going to agree with you. I mean, obviously, I'm in a slightly different position, However, I see the benefit system, especially around people with an illness, a long-term condition, keeps people trapped in a box, right? And then all of a sudden, you see politicians come out with their big stick and they bang the box, right? So you're kind of there as this token like blame game, isn't it? That it's you lot of malingerers that are causing the problem that we're having with the financial system or something like that, which is 100% not true. I'm sure that many people would like to get out of that benefit system, but it is so difficult for them to do that
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the way it's designed keeps you trapped there.
It's like I always liken it to being in a relationship with a narcissist. It's like, well, we'll give you this thing, we'll give you what you need. You need it, you need it. We'll give you it. Oh, but you need to jump through this hoop and this hoop. Oh no, 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 those hoops were yesterday. We've got these hoops over here now, and this hoop and this hoop. And then they gaslight you for what do you mean you didn't get the letter? What do you mean you don't understand the fact the letter said one thing, this text said another, and then you got an email saying something totally different? What do you mean? So yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it's like. And yet I'm still in there. I'm still taking it. I'm hoping that my awareness of it is moving me above it a little bit, but being ready to let go of the secondary gains you get for being ill, of which there are many, and even just acknowledging that they're there is quite a big thing for a lot of people, because nobody wants to admit that actually there are benefits to being ill or benefits to being disabled. But in this country, there are, and you can choose whether to get the benefits or not. But life is pretty tough without the benefits. It's pretty tough with the benefits, but it's that balance of what's more important, I guess, and how you're going to manage it, the transition from moving from being supported by a narcissistic government to being free of being free in your world. And that feels like a big jump, but I'd like to think it is a
I think it
possible one.
is.
Yeah.
I think for most people it's impossible. I think it's a gap too wide because Do you not think, I mean, look, and look, I'm no brainer Britain, but do you not think that there should be some sort of sliding scale of, and I suppose universal credit is supposed to be like that, but it doesn't
Meant to
seem to
be.
work like that for the people that I know that are on it. It's this, you either get it or you don't, and that's it. But the
No,
big,
I'm not sure it works. And the problem with universal credit, from my experience, I am on universal credit, um, is I've no idea why it goes up or down. Not well, I do have some, obviously, when my youngest son comes out of college, it's going to go down because I've not got the child, but I'm not sure how much I need to be earning before it sort of drips off. And at no point they really tell you that. I think there are some benefits calculators, but I've always found them really confusing and not helpful. And certainly when you're running your own business, how much money do I have to be making before then that drops off? Yeah, I don't know. And it's very, even when you speak to people on the phone, when you get to actually speak to a real human on the telephone, they don't know either. The people who
no.
actually work in the system don't actually know how it works,
Mm.
which makes life very difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Well,
Anyway,
listen, me and you are going to put the world to rights, aren't we?
we definitely are at some point. Yeah, absolutely. We are. We are. Which is why we're making these recordings, because we do have a lot of experience and knowledge of living one with a long-term illness, but
Yeah.
also choosing to deal with it in a different way from the norm, from your take disregarding or not disregarding or choosing not to take our doctor's advice, I suppose, is the way, the path that we've both chosen. And not saying that even if you choose to take your doctor's advice, that's an easy path, because it isn't. It feels easier in one respect if you take the tablet or take the injection or whatever it is, but it doesn't actually do what you would like it to do. It doesn't fix the problem, because no, the doctors don't know really what the problem is. And this is what we're exploring, how to get to the root cause of the imbalance which is going on in our bodies, and how we can rebalance our lives towards where we actually want to be going. And and I think was what we were saying earlier before we hit record, was actually that is the gift. And we can choose to unwrap that gift, because it does feel like it's wrapped up in shitty, horrible wrapping paper. Nobody wants to be ill. Nobody wants to have trouble walking. Nobody wants to piss themselves or shit themselves or any of these things, which is what these conditions can do. But actually, if we can get really, really at peace with where we are now, and really accept that actually in this moment in time, there's something for me to learn, something in all this shit and piss and struggle is something that's worth taking and moving forward from. And that's what I want to find out. That's what I'm looking to explore. That's what I love to talk about and love
Yeah.
to explore, because it gives a reason for it all. And I think there is a reason for it all. There is. We're just, yeah,
Yeah.
lost up in all the noise of the way we live our lives at the moment, that we're not actually getting to the crux of what it is to be human beings and to evolve spiritually, emotionally, even physically, to something better.
Mm. Very deep, that. Very deep.
Okay. Right, I'll leave it there.